Today, I'm going to go through everything that you need to know about building AI voice agents. I'm not going to overcomplicate anything. We're going to be able to get a voice agent up and running in just under 10 minutes. And I'm going to showcase all of this using the LiveKit voice agent development platform. Now, if you are not familiar with LiveKit, it is a more developer-focused voice agent development platform. If you are familiar with platforms like Vapi, like Retell, they are not as developer-focused as a platform like LiveKit is. But to be honest, nowadays with a lot of AI coding tools coming out, using these developer-friendly and code-based platforms can actually be incredibly easy to use. And most notably, a big benefit of using a platform like LiveKit is that they have access to a lot of different providers when it comes to speech-to-text and text-to-speech, which I'll cover what that is in just a second. But essentially, we've got a lot of flexibility around what we can build using this platform. Before I go any further, I'll do a quick demo as to what one of these voice agents sounds like. Hey, how's it going?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How can I help you today?
Hey, yeah, I was just looking to book an appointment if that's okay.
Absolutely, I can help you with that. Are you a new patient with us, or have you visited Bright Smile Dental before?
I have visited a couple times before.
Wonderful, it's great to have you back. To start, could I please get your first and last name and what's the best email address to reach you at? We use it to send appointment confirmations and any important info about your visit.
Oh, perfect. Just John Smith, john@smith.com.
Thank you, John. Just to confirm, that's JOHN at SMITH. Is that right?
Perfect.
Great. And what's the best phone number for us to reach you at, John?
Okay, so I hope you get the point. That's what a voice agent sounds like. It's a natural conversation, back and forth, speaking with one of these AI models. They got quick responses, responds right away. We're able to converse and book appointments, answer questions, and do a whole range of different things that you would over a phone or just conversational system. Okay, so to get started, obviously you need to sign up for an account on LiveKit. Once you've signed up for a brand new account, this is what your account will look like. And all that we're going to be doing is just creating an AI agent. So this step right here. We'll just click into this and this is going to take us to our agents page. And then all we need to do is just click on deploy new agent. And then we're just going to select to create in browser using the agent builder. So we aren't going to be using any code, of course, to build this out. We are just going to be using their LiveKit cloud interface to build everything here. But if you wanted to deploy this via code or send this thing off to Claude Code to get it to build it for you, that no doubt about it is an option for sure if you wanted to locally host the voice agent or just do some extra stuff with it. Anyways, we're just going to do this in the cloud. Once you've selected that cloud option, you're going to get a couple of questions. All that we're going to do is just rename this. I'm going to call this the YouTube demo. For now, I'm going to select the open-ended option. And then if you want, you can select a template. I might just select the receptionist template for now. Obviously, if you're going to be building this for any specific use case, a template won't be of any use. But if you want to check them out, you can do that as well. Once you've done that, you're going to land on this page right here. And this is the LiveKit agent builder. On the left-hand side right here, we've got all of the control options when it comes to developing the voice agent. Most notably, you're going to see the instructions set right here. So the instructions or the prompt is essentially the main thing that you're going to be working on in order to structure and build out your voice agent for it to answer questions, for it to ask questions, for it to act and have a personality and do absolutely everything is going to be handled within our instruction set. Below this, we've got a welcome message. This is if we want the AI to speak first when we initiate our conversation. Could be useful for many different reasons. And so really these two boxes are going to be the only sets of instructions that you really need to modify when it comes to the actual voice agent itself. So this main instruction set, if you have a look through the example that it provides, is just an instruction set as to how to act as a voice agent. So it's got the goals, it's got rules, it's got conversation outlines, it's got output rules, essentially just saying, we want you to say this, we don't want you to say this, we want you to act in this certain way, we want you to, we want you to be of help in these certain areas, guardrails as well of things to stay away from. That's essentially what an instruction set is. It's incredibly easy. And nowadays, obviously, we can use AI models to generate these prompts for us in plain English. Obviously, there is an art to prompt engineering and making sure that it does what you need it to. So the models and the voice selection is also one of the most critical parts of building out a voice agent. Essentially, a voice AI agent is built up of multiple different components. So one of the core components that a voice agent is built from is the text-to-speech model. So this is the TTS. Essentially, this is what converts an AI's text or its response into some human-like generated speech. And so the model that I would recommend choosing for your TTS has really always been an 11 Labs model. You can see here there are multiple different providers in LiveKit specifically with Cartesia, DeepGram, 11 Labs, Rhyme, XAI, InWorld. For the most part, in our deployments that we've done for real clients, we've only ever really used 11 Labs, to be honest. We've just found them to have the best voices, the best library, the most amount of voices to choose from as well. And overall, just the best experience that we've had from a production standpoint of getting these systems out in the real world. So choosing 11 Labs Flash V 2.5 is always a good move. And then you can select voice right here and you can scroll through the voices that they have already on LiveKit. You can also select other voice ID. There are tens of thousands, probably hundreds of thousands of voices from the 11 Labs voice library that you can choose from. And so if you select this, you're going to be able to get a custom voice as well, which can be incredibly helpful and help out with the realism aspect as well. So you can choose whatever from here. These are all going to be pretty good if it's going to be on 11 Labs. After this, we've got our large language model. So this is what just produces the AI responses. So we've said something and now the AI model has been hit and it needs to generate a response for us. When it comes to a voice agent, we're really looking for which model is going to be the fastest and most intelligent. We don't care if it's the most intelligent model. Usually they're the ones that are too slow and they're not the best for a voice agent use case. So choosing one of these sort of chat or mini nano OpenAI models are usually a good move, as well as some of the Google Gemini, maybe the 2.5 Flash model could also be good as well. But not to overwhelm you, Gemini's 2.5 Flash model will probably work for most use cases. Beneath this, we've got the last component when it comes to building out a voice agent, and that's going to be our speech to text. So when we're speaking to a voice agent and we tell it, hi, how's it going? That speech that we've just given out through our microphone now needs to be converted into text so that our large language model can obviously interpret that and understand it. And so once again, LiveKit does have a bunch of options when it comes to speech to text models. But the one that I would recommend and have been using more recently is the Assembly AI Universal 3 Pro streaming model. The thing that I mostly look for when I'm choosing one of these speech-to-text models is how well it's able to capture email addresses and phone numbers. Most of the models that are out there are pretty good at understanding your common language, but where these models mostly struggle still is when it comes to email addresses, when it comes to sort of rare or specific words. And we do really want as much power when it comes to converting that speech into text as possible to be as accurate as much as possible all the time. One of the biggest bottlenecks that we've run into with building these systems and deploying them live is that somebody will come through, they'll provide their name, they'll provide their email address, and if that speech to text provider messes it up and it has to repeat over and over again, that can cause a lot of friction. And that is where a lot of call drop-offs happen or a lot of call transfers happen, is because of that frustration, and it's usually because of this speech to text model. So for the model that we are going to be using, it's going to be the Assembly AI model. So this is their Universal 3 Pro streaming model. They claim that it's the most accurate real-time transcription model for voice agents. If you'd like, I'll have this linked down below in the description so you can take a look at this and have a look at some of the results yourself. But once again, one of the really big things that I noticed is that they are just incredibly performant when it comes to emails and URLs. You can see that they are claiming to be significantly better than some of the other models that are out there when it comes to capturing these emails and URLs, as well as other stuff as well, like medical terms, phone numbers, which is incredibly important, names, which is also incredibly important. They've got an advantage at. Now, obviously, don't take these stats blindly. You do want to test this stuff out yourself and see that it actually does perform the way you'd expect it to. But I can say from testing it myself against some of these other models as well and deploying these systems in production, so far I have seen a pretty big advantage by using this model. Once again, I'll have that model linked down below in the description if you want to check it out. Otherwise, you can very easily here on the LiveKit cloud be able to select that right away. If you are going to be building any multilingual agents, you will see here that they do have a multilingual model as well. So you can select that if you like. If we have a look at our model on 11 Labs as well, they also do have multilingual versions. So if you're going to be building multilingual agents, obviously text to speech and speech to text is all going to be very language oriented. So you will want to change those models over. Now for your sort of voice agents 101, that is pretty much it. Once you built out your instruction set, you've configured all of your models, you should now have a voice agent that you can literally speak to. Make sure to just hit this save button in the top right to save all the settings and things you've configured so far. And before I go any further into the last couple of options up here, I'm going to go ahead and preview the agent so you can see exactly what the current setup sounds like. Hey, this is Brendan speaking.
Hi, Brendan. Thanks for calling Blue Dental. My name is Alex, and I'm a virtual receptionist. How can I help you today?
Just wanted to have a chat if that's okay.
I'm here to help with questions about Blue Dental, like scheduling, services, or general information. Is there anything specific you wanted to chat about regarding our practice?
Yeah, where do you guys work?
We're located at 456 Oak Avenue in Willow Creek, California. Is there anything else I can help you with?
No, that sounds pretty good. Would you be able to take an email address for me?
I can take down your email address and a brief message if you'd like. What's your email and what should I tell them?
Yeah, it's brendanjow@gmail.com.
Thank you. Could you please spell out that full email address for me just to make sure I have it correctly?
Yeah, BrendanJoWETT.
Got it. So that's brendanjowett@gmail.com. And what message would you like me to pass along with your email address?
Nothing, just to note it down if that's okay.
Okay. I've noted down your email address as brendanjowett@gmail.com. Is there anything else I can assist you?
Okay, so hopefully you can see there, I was able to talk with it, able to get a response back and naturally converse back and forth. As for the actual accuracy as well on the speech to text model, performed well, was able to capture my name properly, was able to capture my last name. Obviously, the prompt here was already built in to do a repeat of each character letter by letter. So I said, I sort of spelt out BRENDAN, but obviously it went through and did that perfectly fine. There was no issue. As for the last couple options at the top here, when it comes to actions, this is where we're going to be setting up our functions. So essentially a function or a tool call is where we're going to be able to access external data where we send data out or retrieve data in. So let's say we wanted to book an appointment and send off some information to Google Calendar, for example. We would come here and we would set up a HTTP tool. We could call this the book appointment, for example, and we'd set up a URL here that sends off to some sort of a booking system. So if this is a template that we built out on NNN or make.com, this is something that we could set up. Nowadays, what I probably would recommend doing is going ahead and getting Claude Code to actually connect into your LiveKit system right here and just telling it to set up a function for you. So if you wanted to build out a booking system to book into Google Calendar, I would get Claude Code to connect into this LiveKit system, and it would be able to find all of the available Google Calendar APIs through the Google Cloud Console. You'd be able to log in through your accounts, and then it would automatically set up all of these connections as well. So if you did want to see a LiveKit x Claude Code video where I use Claude Code to build out one of these voice agents, do let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, we've got client tools right here. We don't use this too much. I wouldn't worry about that as a complete beginner. And after this, we've got MCP servers. So MCP servers can be incredibly useful as well. Once again, if you're getting Claude Code to build out a voice agent for you, this is something that could be incredibly useful. As for booking appointments, I probably wouldn't use an MCP server for booking appointments because it is such a critical thing that we don't want to mess up or have delayed. But for a lot of sort of standardized or not that important connections, maybe we're sending information off to a CRM or something like that, using an MCP server could be pretty helpful. And lastly, we've got our advanced section right here. To be honest, it's not the most advanced section ever. You could just change the name of the agent. If you wanted to use some custom API keys for all of your models, as opposed to building through LiveKit, you could add your secret keys right here. And then at the bottom, we've got telephony. So for connecting a phone number to this agent, so far I've just been calling it over the web, but obviously you'd want to be able to connect it into a phone number so you can call it and use it for a real purpose. And this is incredibly easy as well. You just click buy a number. It will then go ahead and load all the numbers that they have available here. You can just purchase one of these numbers. It's about $1 a month to host the number. And once you've done that, it'll connect that into this agent. You'll just have to hit deploy agent up here. So we'll hit save. We can then literally hit the deploy agent button right here. And now this agent is starting to deploy. And once this agent is deployed, a phone number is connected. You're then literally going to be able to talk to this agent over that phone number. So that is literally it when it comes to building out a voice agent here on LiveKit. I hope that was way easier than you thought it was. And just for my last note, I recently found out that 90% of you watching right now are actually not subscribed at all to the channel. So if you could go ahead and subscribe to the channel, that would mean a lot. This channel covers everything to do with voice agents and Claude Code and AI automation. So if you don't want to miss out on a lot of the videos, I've got a lot more videos planned all this year. So if you could subscribe, you will get notified right away for that.